When someone comes to us with their pain, of course, we want to do whatever we can to help them. But helping others isn't as straightforward as many people think it is. It's an area that can be full of complex psychology. Often we don't see that our good intentions can cause more harm than good. We don't realise that our helpfulness can have much more to do with our own needs and our own fears than the person we're trying to help. So for this video, I want to talk about the psychological and emotional aspects of supporting someone who's told you that they've been sexually abused. And I'm going to assume that the person talking to you is an adult who is no longer at risk from further abuse, because the issues relating to disclosure by children or disclosure by an adult who is still in an abusive relationship both deserve to have their own separate videos. It's a privilege when someone decides that they trust you enough to share something with you that is so difficult for them to talk about. It's a vote of confidence in you, but it can be a difficult privilege to live with. Seeing someone else's pain is heartbreaking, and I don't find that it gets any easier with practice. So let's try and understand some of this psychology so that we can be truly helpful. The first thing to do if someone tells you that they've been sexually abused is to count to 5 or do whatever you need to do to give yourself a moment so that you can gather your thoughts. Because there are a couple of natural instincts that may kick in and they're not especially helpful. The first is the temptation to turn into some kind of detective. It can be shocking to hear that someone you care about has been sexually abused. It is absolutely normal and natural to want to understand what happened and why it happened. So if you have these thoughts, notice them. Know that it is okay to have them, but park those thoughts. Your friend is likely to be confused about what happened. They may be wondering whether or not they should have been able to predict it or prevent it. They may be wondering whether they provoked it. They may blame themselves or be worried that other people are going to hold them responsible or doubt what they're saying. If you start asking them questions about what happened and why, it may confirm all of their fears. Recognize that there is a difference between your need to understand and what your friend needs from you right now. So unless your friend specifically wants to talk to you about the details, know that it is not your role to understand what happened and why. Your job isn't to be a detective. Your job in this moment is to be their friend. The other thing to avoid is taking control of the situation. When you are sexually abused, somebody else takes over and choice and control are taken away from you. Sometimes our attempts to help can replicate this. We take over. So don't make choices for your friend. Help them to make their own choices. Recognize that this is not your mountain to climb. With my friends, if I could pick them up, put them on my shoulder and personally carry them to the top of the mountain, there wouldn't be a thing that could stop me from doing that. But that's not how it works. Instead, in that moment, my job is to do probably the hardest, but definitely the single most loving and generous thing I can do. It's to sit there with their pain, to hold back my need to understand, and to hold back my desire to fix everything, and listen. Sometimes people just need to be heard, which sounds really simple until you try to do it. When I'm sitting there hearing someone else's pain, how I feel in that moment is inadequate. So if you are feeling inadequate, you are probably getting it right. You need to know that you can't fix this, but you can be there for your friend, and that is probably all they are asking you for. You might find it easier to hold back if you can understand some of the things that your friend might be going through. So please check out my book, The Courage to Be Me, which you can read for free on my website. As well as listening to your friend, there are some practical things that you could do. If your friend wants to report the offence to the police, you could find out where they need to go and what the procedure is. If they're looking for help on the internet, they may struggle to put the terms rape or sexual abuse into the search engine, so you could do this for them. You could do the research and create a list of helplines and agencies that might be able to offer them some counselling. You could make the first phone call on their behalf, or you could sit with them whilst they make the call for themselves. I would love to be able to tell you that once your friend is in touch with an agency, they will get all the support that they need, but that might not be the case. Every agency I know is overworked and underfunded. You may find that there is a lack of service provision in your area or a very long waiting list. Your friend may need to fight to get the support that they need, and they may not have the energy or the motivation for this fight. Many people who've been abused learn to suffer in silence, so make some noise. If there is a lack of service provision in your area, ask your local politicians why this is the case. Get in touch with your local charities and find out how you can help them. These agencies need local members of the community to get active and supportive in their work. Your friend may not be able to be that person right now, but you could be. The other thing to recognise is that this isn't a short journey, it's a long one. Abuse is a bit like grief. It's not so much a case of getting over it as learning how to live with it. And that means that you need to find a way of communicating to your friend about this over the long term. You don't want this to dominate every aspect of your friendship forevermore, but you also don't want to never speak about it again after the initial conversation. I find that honesty is the best way to go. If it's been a while since you spoke about the abuse and you're wondering how they're getting on, just ask them. If you want to help but you're really not sure what you should do, then say that. Both of you are working this out as you go along, so work it out together. And finally, there's you. Living with this stuff isn't easy. You need to look after yourself as well. Don't sacrifice yourself for your friend. They're not asking you to do that, and even if you did, it wouldn't help them. So find somebody that you can talk to. Many of the helplines will also take calls from friends or family members. But talking isn't everything. I use a very large variety of weird and wonderful ways of looking after me, whilst also allowing sexual abuse to come into my life. Find your way of being kind to yourself and value that just as much as you value looking after your friend.